In a terrible season for quarterback injuries, Week 8 provided yet another big blow. I'm Joe Dolan, and this is the Fantasy Points morning lineup for Monday, October 30th, 2023. Just a reminder, everybody, to go to fantasypoints.com, check out our Fantasy Points data suite, which is 75% off for the 2023 season, and also get our content packages, which are 50% off for, given the fact that half the fantasy football season's already over, and you can get an additional 25% off with code GURRIFIC25, GURRIFIC 25 at checkout. Now let's start with the big injury from Week 8. The Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins is suspected to have torn his Achilles tendon in his right foot. That is per Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter. There will be an MRI on Monday to confirm, but torn Achilles, unfortunately, are easy to diagnose with a simple mechanical test from an athletic trainer, so it's really just expected to confirm the inevitable. Now, Cousins entered Week 8 second in the NFL in passing, so this is a massive bummer for our game, fantasy football. But it's also a bummer from a human perspective, because after all, football players are human beings, and look at the impact Kirk Cousins has around the Vikings locker room. This is TJ Hawkinson, the tight end, per ESPN's Kevin Seifert. Quote, "There's nothing really I can say about it. I just love Kirk to death. I love his family. I love him. I love everything about him. To see a guy like that go down is always tough." End quote. Here's defensive tackle Harrison Phillips, per Seifert. Quote, "I'm sick to my stomach. It's not a normal 3-win streak vibe, I would say," meaning the locker room. The best quality about Kirk Cousins, and just talking for my game, we're going to get a lot of hagiography on Kirk Cousins from the Vikings and the Vikings players, and maybe it's deserved. But from my perspective, I can only know what we know about him, and that's he reliably threw it to good players. It was his best quality. We have so many coaches in the NFL, so many quarterbacks in the NFL who don't throw it to good players, and Kirk Cousins has always done that. Stephon Diggs, check. Adam Thielen, check. Justin Jefferson, check. Jordan Addison, check. Dalvin Cook, check. All these guys who have been great for them throughout the years, he has gotten them the football and really never really spread it around too much, like in a Sean Payton kind of way. Kirk Cousins always threw it to the right player, and that's what I'm going to miss about watching him play, because I knew when Justin Jefferson was out there, Kirk was going to throw him the ball. And when Justin Jefferson wasn't available, he was going to throw the ball to Jordan Addison. He was going to throw the ball to TJ Hawkinson. It's a tough blow for Kirk Cousins. It's a tough blow for the Vikings. For Cousins, he's 35 and he's entering free agency. Now, I thought his style of play, never one to really rely on his athleticism, aged well, but we'll see if this injury affects that. The Vikings now are 4-4 and right in the thick of the playoff race. Can they make a move at the quarterback position? They might have no choice given the state of the NFC North. The problem is, are there moves to be made given the other quarterback injuries around the NFL? I'm not even talking about the ones that we've already had, but how about the ones that just happened in Week 8? The Steelers' Kenny Pickett, on another playoff contending team, as ugly as that sounds, left with a rib injury in their loss to the Jaguars and did not return. I know that offense has not been great this year, but Kenny Pickett outplayed Mitchell Trubisky. The Giants quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who has a history of rib injuries, left and did not return in Sunday's crap fest against the Jets. Per Mike Garafolo, Taylor was taken to Hackensack Medical Center for further examination on the injury to his rib cage. He will remain there overnight for observation per the team. So this is obviously a scary situation given Tyrod's history with rib injuries, and they obviously want to monitor for potential internal injuries. Now, with Tommy DeVito at quarterback, Tommy DeVito, the third stringer with Daniel Jones already out, the Giants had a funny passing offense. Funny. Like a clown.
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you? I make you laugh? I'm here to fucking amuse you? What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
DeVito had -1 yard passing. Now, since the start of the 2010 season, only 2 teams have finished a game with negative net passing yards. So in the last 14 NFL seasons, counting this one, only 2 teams have ever finished with negative net passing yards in a game. The Giants on Sunday against the Jets with -9, and it was the Giants on January 2nd of 2022 with -7 against the Bears with Mike Glennon at quarterback. This is a disaster. Now, meanwhile, tight end Darren Waller, who entered the game with a hamstring injury of his own and left after aggravating it in the first half, led the Giants in receiving. He had 1 catch for 4 yards. I cannot believe that was an actual NFL game, and I cannot believe it took the Jets till overtime to defeat that Giants team. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, Desmond Ridder left to be evaluated for a concussion and did not return after halftime, despite apparently clearing the protocol. Taylor Hospital Ball Heineke played the second half. Now here's everybody's favorite fantasy football head coach, Arthur Smith. Quote, "We've got a lot of confidence in Dez. We didn't take him out for performance issues." Okay, so he's not hurt. Is this a Deshaun Watson situation where you don't want him to get more hurt or you don't want his confidence to get shook? And HB Heineke just came in for kicks.
Right.
And if you have no performance issues with Ridder, why, with Ridder in the game, are you throwing passes with Jonnu Smith? Yes, look, we all have issues when they throw passes to Jonnu Smith because, they have Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson. How do you expect us to feel when you throw passes with Jonnu Smith? Like, yes, Jonnu Smith, the backup tight end, actually throwing a pass with his arm in the red zone. And, of course, in true hospital ball Heineke fashion, he put a receiver in the hospital soon after joining action with Drake London leaving after a tough throw between defenders over the middle with a groin injury. Now, per Michael Rothstein of ESPN, London said, quote, "I'm fine," and that he, quote, has to listen to the doctors at the end of the day. We'll see how that progresses throughout the week. And finally, Matthew Stafford has a throwing thumb injury. He left after aggravating the thumb injury in the second half. Now, he apparently suffered the injury per Sean McVay in the first half against the Cowboys. And he aggravated the injury. Listen to this. You will not believe this. He aggravated the injury while diving into the end zone on a 2-point conversion on a Philly special style of play in the second half. No further info on the injury from Sean McVay on Sunday night. Why throw to an injured quarterback? What are we doing here?
What the hell is even that?
Sean McVay, obviously I have a lot of respect for Sean McVay, and he's been way better to us for fantasy football than Arthur Smith's been to us. But what is that decision? I don't get it. Now, Brett Rippon finished the game for the Rams, and Matthew Stafford is hurt when he doesn't play because that guy is tough as nails. So hopefully the game being kind of out of reach, that game was a blowout from the opening kickoff, had something to do with the Rams not bringing Matthew Stafford back into that game. But if Stafford can't go, that's obviously a massive blow to the fantasy football value of Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, anybody you're counting on in that Ram offense. Oh, this was an exhausting one to get through. Even though it was quick, it's exhausting. Thank you for joining me for the Fantasy Points Morning Lineup. Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and comment if you enjoyed this video, and comment if Arthur Smith bothers you as much as he bothers me. You can catch me over at Fantasy Points in our subscriber Discord using code GURIFIC25. I'll talk to you Thursday, everybody.